Vadodara, Gujarat. Lastly, I welcome all the participants present here. Welcome you all. Today, Dr. Archana ma'am is presenting webinar on the topic Yoga a boon in post-COVID-19 scenario. Before that, I request Dr. Mahadevi Mali ma'am to introduce our eminent speaker. Ma'am, it's over to you. Ma'am, Mali ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible? Ma'am, Archana ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Mali ma'am, it's over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, madam, and good morning to everyone. Welcome you all for the webinar series Swasthya Prasadini 2020 organized by Department of Swastharita and Yoga. Today, Dr. Archana Panchakshari Mutt with us, and she is going to deliver the lecture on topic Yoga, a boon in post-COVID-19 scenario. She has completed her BMS from KLE's Sri BM Kankanwadi Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya, Belagavi. MD from Dr. BNME Rural Ayurvedic Medical College and Research Center, Bijapur. Total teaching experience is 12 years, 7 months, and various publications are published in different journals. Presently, she is working as a professor, Department of Swasthayam Yoga, Parul Institute of Ayurveda and Research, Parul University, Vadodara, Gujarat. Welcome you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, madam. So I think it's a great opportunity for me to express my views in this webinar. So my topic is Yoga, a boon in post-COVID scenario. As all of you know, what the problems we are facing due to this COVID-19 in present situation, not only it is impairing our physical health as well as mentally also we are being stressed due to this COVID-19. So we will try to see how yoga can help us during this situation. Am I audible, madam? Hello?
Yes, madam.
Voice is clear now?
Audible, madam.
Clear.
Okay. So introduction, as you all know, yoga is a spiritual discipline which is extremely a subtle science which focuses on bringing the harmony between the mind and body. And it is not only an art of living, but it is also a science for a healthy living. And yoga not merely is a form of exercise of the body, it is much more than that, which is going to influence not only our physical body but also our mental and social well-being. It is an ancient wisdom for a healthier, happier and more peaceful way of living, which ultimately leads to the union with the self. So there are different derivations of yoga which tells as yujir yoga, that is to unite or to combine or to integrate, that is the union of the Atma and Paramatma can be called as yoga. Yujjate anena iti yogaha, that is which brings about the union of the soul with the God is yoga. Yogaha karmasu kaushalam, that is yoga is a skilled performance, means any we can correlate with it with the karma yoga, that is any work whichever we are doing, we try to do it very skillfully, that is also nothing but the yoga. Samatvam yoga uchyate, that is a state of balance between the failure and the win, or body and the mind can be called as a yoga. Tam vidya corresponded with the happiness and miseries of this world can be called as the yoga. So now what importance of health is in this universe? So as even Ayurveda believes that health is much more important to achieve the Purushartha Chatushtayas, that is Dharmartha, Kama, Mokshanam, Arogyam, Moolam, Uttamam. Anything if we want to achieve, we need a healthy body. Then only we can achieve those things. that is dharma, artha, kama, moksha, etc. These all are mainly based on the healthy body. Only a healthy body can achieve these things. And as we know, the definition of WHO as health is a state of complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being, and not merely absence of disease or infirmity. And in recent years, this state has been amplified to include the ability to lead a socially and economically productive life. So during this scenario of COVID-19, we have stayed under lockdown for more than 3 months. So that we will not get infected with the disease. But when the period of unlocking has been started, we are scaring to go out that we may get the infection. But it is not an answer for the life, because we have to go out, we have to do our routine works, we have to lead a social life. So because of this COVID-19, we are under fear, which is creating a stress, mental stress. So as we need to lead a socially, economic and economically productive life, we have to manage this situation some or the other way, and we have to do our routine works as much as possible, for which yoga can be a one answer to overcome these all problems. So we'll try to see how health and Ashtanga yoga are related. So Ashtanga yoga has been dealt under the Raja Yoga. There are different schools of yoga, as you know, as Raja Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Mantra Yoga, etc. But this Ashtanga yoga comes under the Raja Yoga. This Raja Yoga is considered as the best among all the yogas because it includes all the techniques which are explained in other yogic sciences. And even the modern yogic practitioners justified that following of Ashtanga Yoga will help to maintain and preserve the all factors of health which have been explained by the WHO. That is, physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being can be attained by these Ashtanga yogas. So these Ashtanga yogas includes Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So the Yama, especially it explains the principles which are that is don'ts, which we have to avoid. Like we have to avoid himsa, we have to avoid the stealing of the other things. Like that, mainly don'ts are explained. In Niyama, we will see the social principles of well-being, that is the observances which we can adopt in our life, like shaucha, santosha, etc. Then your asanas are the postures, yogic postures, which help us to keep our physical as well as mental health in a good condition. Then pranayama are the certain yogic breathing practices which especially energize our respiratory system and helps to balance the mental health. Then pratyahara is the withdrawal of the senses. Dharana is the concentration. Dhyana is a furthermore stage of concentration, that is meditation. And lastly, samadhi is the salvation. So these Ashtanga yogas are classified into two branches as Bahiranga Yoga and Antaranga Yoga. Bahiranga Yoga includes Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, and Pratyahara, whereas Antaranga Yoga includes Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. And even it is told that the Pratyahara will act as a bridge between these Bahiranga as well as Antaranga yogas. And also these three, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, together are called as Samyama. So these all are the theoretical things which we have seen in our routine theory classes also. So now we'll see how this COVID-19 has influenced our health. That is, multidimensional health is getting influenced by the COVID-19. Coronavirus disease 2019. It is previously known as a coronavirus when first time we came across this. Then COVID-19, as you all know, it was first identified in Wuhan, China in December 2019. And that by definition, it is a mild to severe respiratory illness that is caused by coronavirus, that is SARS-CoV-2. It is characterized by fever, cough, and shortness of breath, which may progress into pneumonia and respiratory failure. And people even the people who recover from this COVID-19 can be still left with a substantially reduced lung function. Nowadays, we are seeing that the recovery rate is higher, but still there are chances that after recovery also, the people may suffer from the reduced lung function, which was observed by Hong Kong hospital authorities. Then along with this COVID-19 as a one pandemic, it has created one more pandemic that is called as fear psychosis. Everyone everywhere is scared to death, and this is further aggravated and worsened by an unrelenting onslaught of negative news from the media. And this already we are under the scare that or fear that we may get infected and the condition may worsen. Along with that, again, this news media is creating much more fear in our minds by showing most of the negative news. Then social media has shown how it can be really worsen such apprehensions and turn into a fear psychosis minute by minute by continuously showing the same scenario for much more times. They are creating a mental pressure on the society. Then the Swami Geetananda Giri used to say that the disease is the sense of duality. Means when our mind is in a dual nature, means whatever we are doing, we are not sure about that. We are thinking in a dual nature, whether this is right or this is right. So we are in a jumbling that what we are doing, whether it is right or not. So which will lead to fear, and this creates an imbalance of the mind, and again this imbalance of mind will cause disease in the body. So in recent time, a branch of modern medical science has developed and is known as psychoneuroimmunology. It deals with the phenomenon of how our thoughts and emotion can affect our immune system. Stress, fear, and negative emotions are known to weaken our immune system, while the yoga, mindfulness, positive emotions, and relaxation techniques can strengthen our immune system. The scientific interest in yoga has increased substantially in recent years, and a number of physiological aspects of yoga, and including physical postures, controlled breathing, meditation, have been explored, which can help us to come over this situation of COVID-19. So now we will see how this yoga will help us to attain to the positive health. So there is nothing but only we have to refocus on our principles of health, which are being explained in our ancient sciences. That is, we need to refocus on our own salutogenesis, swasthavastha, that is our own inherent capacity and capability to be responsible for our health and happiness. We must move from the pathogenesis, the focus on the disease that is going to worsen the fear. So we are concentrating on the disease itself, not on the health. Means how we can be healthy, we can overcome this situation. We are not concentrating on that. We are concentrating on the disease, how it is creating impact on the society, on the community, how people are dying due to that. So only that we are thinking. So we have to divert our mind from that, and we have to move towards the salutogenesis, the focus on the health that strengthens all our systems. Yoga empowers us and enables us to take charge of our own life, thus promoting holistic health for each and every one of us. The Yama Niyama principles of cleanliness, purity, and self control are most important in the present moment, where the social distancing, personal hygiene are being emphasized by all the medical authorities. Along with that, we have to also look for the Seva Manobhava, that is Nishkama Karma Yoga, which has to be emphasized to help our fellow brethren who are in need. So we, with the fear of getting infected, if we are not helping our fellow brethren, that will also worsen the condition. With all precautionary measures, even we have to try to help the fellow brethren with the medical facilities which we can provide. Then yoga practices, especially those done mindfully, will strengthen our immune system by inducing a sense of empowerment and confidence from the within. Slow mindful asana practices, pranayama and dhyana will help us to regain control over the horses of the sense organs and emotions that are in the process of bolting, means they can get exploded. So that can be controlled by the uh, practices of asanas as well as pranayama, dhyana, etc., which are being explained in our Ashtanga Yoga. So along with that, even certain hatha yogic procedures like Shatkriyas, especially the Neti and Kapalabhati, are very useful to enhance the protective reflexes of our respiratory system, and thus we can promote the healthy function of our respiratory system. And even the mantra japa, especially of Omkara, is very useful as it is known to attenuate the limbic overactivity, that is, which is related to the emotions of the person. Then pranayama and dhyana by using the akara, ukara, makara are extremely useful in including also including the relaxation response from the within. So now we will see simple techniques or the yogic practices which can help us to overcome the problems related to this COVID-19, either related to our physical health, mental health, or social health, especially those practices which are going to help our respiratory system, nervous system, as well as help us to overcome the situation of mental stress. So among them, one of the simple procedure is Surya Namaskara, which can be practiced by everyone. Not much limitations are there in the practice of Surya Namaskara. And this Surya Namaskara not only includes the physical postures, but also it includes breathing techniques and chanting of certain bija mantras, etc. So altogether, it will going to benefit our health. That is, it helps to improve the compactness of the muscle, brings the flexibility in all joints, kindles the digestive fire, brings stability in the vertebral column, then imparts the sense of pleasure, and there will be overall nourishment of the body. If it is regularly practiced, it can help for the nourishment of the body. Usually we start the yogic practices with the loosening exercises. Instead of that, we can also start our practices from the Surya Namaskara after chanting of the Omkara. So now I will try to tell the postures which are helpful for us to strengthen our respiratory system as well as nervous system, and to help our mental health. So among standing postures, we can practice Rukshasana, which helps to improve neuromuscular coordination, balance, and endurance, as well as concentration. The practice of Trikonasana will help to improve the lung capacity. And these are the postures which have a less limitations. Anybody can practice them. But then also, if there are a particular contraindication, they are to be considered while practicing. Then in sitting postures, Bhadrasana, which helps to stabilize the mind, and it is good for breathing disorders. Ustrasana, it is helpful in cardiorespiratory disorders. Then if you go to Shashankasana, it is also helpful to reduce the stress and anxiety. This is Shashankasana. Then Uttana Mandukasana, it helps in improving diaphragmatic movements and also improves our lung capacity. Among prone postures, the Makarasana, which is a relaxative posture in prone posture series, it gives relaxation of the whole body and helps for cardiac rehabilitation. And Bhujangasana, it is best for the stress management and also helps to remove the bronchial problems. And among Shalabhasana, it helps to improve our lung capacity, and Setu Bandhasana helps to relieve depression, anxiety. Among supine postures, Uttana Padasana, effective in overcoming the depression and anxiety, and also helps to improve the lung capacity. Shavasana is a relaxative posture, helps to relieve all kinds of tension and gives rest both to the body as well as mind, and relieves whole psychophysiological system. So these are the certain postures which are included in common yoga protocol, which can be practiced by each and every one with less limitations. And especially I tried to explore how they are going to helpful to strengthen our cardiorespiratory system and help to overcome the mental stress. And among the pranayama, the most best method is Nadi Shuddhi pranayama, a very easy technique which can be practiced by everyone. The main purpose of this pranayama, as the name itself tells, Nadi Shuddhi means it will going to purify the principal channels of our body, which carries the energy. Thus, it nourishes the whole body and induces tranquility. Also helps to improve concentration, increases vitality, and lowers the level of stress, anxiety, and also helps to elevate, means remove the disorders related to the cough. In the same way, one more very beneficial pranayama in this situation is Bhramari pranayama, very easy to practice. The vibrations which are created during the practice of this pranayama are very helpful to calm our brain. By these vibrations, the cerebral cortex sends impulses directly to the hypothalamus, which controls the pituitary gland, that is the master gland. In this way, it improves the mental health as well as physical health of the subjects. Thus, it is very much useful for elevating positive mood and relieving the anxiety and the depression. In the same way, Bastrika Pranayama, which is the process of continuous forceful exhalation and inhalation, it helps to promote the diaphragmatic movements, stimulates the heart and lung muscles. Then the procedures among the Shatkriyas are especially related with the respiratory system are Kapalabhati and Jalaneti. So this Kapalabhati, it helps to purify the frontal sinuses, thus helps to overcome the disorders of the kapha. And it is also useful to prevent the cold, rhinitis, sinusitis, asthma, and bronchial infections. Then Neti is also one among the Shatkriyas, which is a technique of cleansing the nasal passages, which is classified into two types as Jalaneti and Sutraneti. So in classics, we get the reference of only Sutraneti, but Jalaneti is also in a practice in wide. Then it is a form of Vitkarma Kapalabhati, where water is drawn from the mouth and it is expelled out from the nose. So same technique is used here in Jalaneti by using a Neti pot, where the water is made to enter through the one nostril and it will come out through the other nostril. Then what are the benefits of this Jalaneti? By the systematic practice, at least if you practice it once in a week. Among these two types, Jalaneti is a very simple technique which can be practiced by anyone. Only the contraindications are if a person is suffering with the this nasal polyps or any blockage in the nostrils, it cannot be attempted. Otherwise, it can be practiced. And in case of a if presently he is suffering with a cold and cough, it should not be practiced. But in healthy condition, we can practice it at least once in a week. So this help the secretory and drainage mechanisms of the entire ear, nose, and throat area are well maintained. This helps to keep away the conditions like the sinusitis, cold, cough, allergic rhinitis, and insensitivity to the smell. It also increases blood circulation and functional efficiency of the nasal mucosa. It is beneficial in reducing anxiety and depression. It has a cooling and soothing effect on the brain by drawing out the excessive heat, and therefore it is beneficial for the headache, migraine, depression, and general mental tension. Then among the last step of Bahiranga Yoga, or the connecting bridge, that is Pratyahara. It is a bridge between the Bahiranga and Antaranga phase of yoga, and the interaction of both Karmendriya and Jnanendriya with their objects. It will going to arouse the fluctuations in the mind. and the practice in which the senses are detached from their respective objects and withdrawing them inwards is known as the pratyahara. It is a method which is very much essential to withdraw the sense inwards and stabilize the fluctuating mind on the desired objects, so that we can further move towards the next step, that is dharana. So the Antaranga Yoga, which includes the Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, as Maharshi Patanjali says, Deshabandha Chittasya Dharana, that is the process of concentration, of binding the consciousness to a point, place, region, or an object. That is, here there will be duality between the seer and the seen. That is, observer and the object are two different things. Observer will going to concentrate on the object of the desired object. That is, one pointed concentration will be there, which help us to flow further to the stage of the meditation. Then comes the dhyana, that is meditation. Tatra pratyaya ekatanata dhyanam, that is meditation is a state where there is a steady and conscious flow of attention and concentration on a point, place, region, or object. That is, there will be cessation of duality. In dharana, there will be duality. The observer and object are the two different things. But here, the duality will be ceased. That is, both observer and object becomes the one, means they will forget everything. Only concentration will be on the object. Fixing the mind on the supreme devotion and discipline is called as dhyana. Then its later stage is samadhi, where there will be free flowing of higher states of consciousness. That is, here both will get dissolved, the seer and the seen. It will become one, that is union with the divine nature. The ultimate universal unification is nothing but the samadhi. So this Antaranga Yoga help us to remove our focus from the disease towards the health. That is the main importance of this dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. We should avoid our focus from the disease COVID-19. We should divert it towards the attainment of the health. Then comes the meditation benefits. The simple technique of pranava dhyana we can practice regularly, which involves a one-pointed concentration on the rupa and nada, that is form and the sound of this oma, that is the sacred pranava om, the mantra of the all mantras. This pranava dhyana harmonizes the body, emotions, and the mind. A performance of 3 to 9 rounds of pranava dhyana daily helps to relax the body, emotion, mind complex and provides complete healing through the production of healing vibration at all levels of our existence. Now we will see how especially this yoga will going to influence our physical, mental, as well as social and spiritual well-being. So yoga effect on the physical health. As you all know, physical health implies the perfect functioning of the body, a state in which every cell and every organ is functioning at optimum capacity and in perfect harmony with the rest of the body, as you have gone through this definition in your park book. The 10 studies with 544 participants were included for this physical health, to see the physical benefits of the yoga. With respect to this physical fitness and function, the studies reported that moderate effect on sizes for the gait, balance, body flexibility, strength, and weight loss, etc. And we can see many yogic postures, pranayama, and meditation techniques helps to balance the functions of cardiorespiratory system, digestive system, endocrine system, and nervous system. Thus, we can say definitely this yoga will going to benefit our physical health. So as we are talking on the COVID-19, especially we have to concentrate on the respiratory system, effect of yoga on the respiratory system. So focusing on the respiratory aspect of yoga, the pranayama generally involves the techniques of controlled breathing, which affects the respiratory rhythm. Namely, through prolongation and shortening of the breath, and sometimes breath holding, and all implying voluntary control of the respiratory muscles. As you all know, respiration is an involuntary function, but by adopting the techniques of pranayama, we can have a voluntary control on the respiratory muscles. Pranayama helps in bringing conscious awareness to breathing and reshaping of the breathing habits and patterns. So many of our pattern of breathing will be faulty. So we can correct those faulty breathing techniques by conscious breathing techniques, which are explained in the pranayama. The essence of the pranayama practice is slow and deep breathing, which is economical as it reduces the dead space ventilation. It also refreshes air throughout the lungs. That is in contrast with the shallow breathing. In regular breathing, our breathing will be shallow, which will refresh the air only at the base of the lungs. But as in pranayama, slow and deep breathing techniques are involved. It helps to refresh air throughout the lungs. Then pranayama cleanses the airway secretion, acts as a major physiological stimulus for the release of pulmonary surfactants and prostaglandins into alveolar spaces, which increases the lung compliance. Means lung capacity will be increased by the regular practice of this pranayama. Then also it has a positive effect on our nervous system. There were 42 studies on the yoga effect on sympathetic and parasympathetic activation and cardiovagal function. So most of the studies offered some evidence that yoga promotes a reduction in the sympathetic activation, enhancement of cardiovagal function, and a shift from autonomic nervous system balance from primarily sympathetic to parasympathetic. The sympathetic, which is responsible for the fight and flight response, from that it will be shifted to the parasympathetic, which helps to slow down our pulse rate, blood pressure rate. So thus it will help to cool down the mind. Then how this yoga is also influencing our mental health, as it is shifting the autonomic nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic. Definitely it will going to influence or help our mental health. Good mental health is the ability to respond to the many varied experiences of the life with flexibility and a sense of purpose. Mental health as a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope up with the normal stresses of the life, and can work productively and fruitfully. The pranayama and meditation techniques help to enhance the mental well-being by improving the mood, attention, mental focus, and stress tolerance. And nowadays, in recent studies, we have come across that the most of the deaths due to COVID-19 were seen with the high cortisol levels, which is responsible for the mental stress. The cortisol level is increased when there is a increased mental stress. Researchers found that regular practice of yoga reduces cortisol levels, thereby minimizing the negative side effects on our mental health. Then yoga also going to influence our spiritual as well as social health, as we have seen in the yama and niyama. The yama, the ethical rules, which includes ahimsa, satyam, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, yamaha. So these help to build good behavioral qualities in an individual, which in turn avoids the enmity and help to build a healthy relation with the society. Thus we can have a we can fulfill the social well-being in the multidimensional health. Then the niyama, the principles of social well-being like cleanliness, satisfaction, penance, self-study, and complete belief in God will help the individual to attain the ultimate happiness by uniting himself with the God. That is, we are going to achieve both the social as well as the spiritual health by practicing the yama niyama principles of the yoga. Thus, may we as one humanity stand our ground, and may we fight the enemy within, that is the fear. We can overcome the enemy within us, that is fear, and thus strengthening our ability to fight the external enemy, that is COVID-19. So we can conclude that the regular practice of yoga techniques help to maintain physical, mental, and social well-being of the individual. In present scenario, it is very much needed to adopt the yogic practices in our life to overcome the mental stress and bring discipline in our life. And we can also say that yoga helps to strengthen ourselves to fight against the fear, and also the which is the enemy within us, and the external enemy COVID-19 as well. Okay, so these are the references. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You have presented a webinar in a best way, so there are no doubts.
Thank you. If you have
It was
any
a
doubt,
yes, tell ma'am.
even if you have doubt, you can ask. So, madam.
Ma'am, it was a wonderful session, ma'am, and knowledge of this was very
Hello.
essential in present situation, and it really helped us a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Now we are at the end of the session. Now it's time for vote of thanks. It's a great opportunity for me to thank such a wonderful eminent speaker, Dr. Archana Panchakshari Mat, ma'am. Firstly, I thank our principal, Dr. K.C. Das, sir. Thank you, sir. I like to thank Dr. Mali, ma'am, and Dr. Harish, sir, for their support in conducting the webinar, Swastha Prasadini 2K20. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir. On behalf of our institute, I thank Dr. Archana, ma'am, for this wonderful session. Thank you, ma'am. Lastly, I thank all the participants present here. Thank you, one and all.
Hello, ma'am.
I would like to thank the principal, Dr. K.C. Das sir, and HOD Department of Swastha Vritta, Mali madam, and Dr. Harish Deshpande sir for giving me this opportunity to express my views during this webinar sessions. Thank you. Can I end the session?
Madam, 1 minute. Wait for 1 minute, ma'am.
Okay, madam.
On behalf of our institution and from our college and from our department of Swastharutta and Yoga, once again I would like to thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, ma'am.